Hello. So today we're going to code these cards in a responsive layout in CSS Grid. So I originally tried to do these in Flexbox, and I realized that it was getting difficult and the code was getting pretty convoluted. So, and I spent a long time on it, and so then I just decided to try Grid for it instead, and the code base was much lighter, and I found Grid to be really accurate for this sort of thing, especially when it came into the responsiveness on tablet, and it really it's the inspiration for this video anyway. So we're going to kick things off. We're really starting from nothing here. I've got for this demo, so I've got some basic markup here, and so we're just going to get into it. We're not going to go into the details of like loading the fonts in or anything like that. This is really just to get the layouts happening in Grid. So let's do it. Okay, so I've got some card styles set up here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make this container, the parent thing, we're going to make that the Grid parent. So we'll start off with cards, and we're working in Sass. And then we're going to go container, and now we need to pop in the Grid, because the parent does a lot of the work. You tell the parent of these items here how you want them to behave with Grid. So let's just type in Grid. Now I have a snippet that I use, so it's going to auto generate some Grid code for us. So we're going to display Grid, and the Grid template columns, 1 2 3 4, that's what we need, and the rows, this is going to be fine for desktop, the rows, and the Grid areas, I'm just going to change this to card 1, card 2, card 3, card 4. Now that's important because, and that needs to be reflected in your markup as well. Card 1, card 2, card 3, card 4. That tells the cards where to be positioned. And so we can see they've already started their layout. Alright, so one thing I'm probably going to do here is grab this card and put a background color on it of I'll just copy the proper color here from the Figma file. Okay, and we need to fix our text color, and for that I might just throw in, that'll work for us for now, and we need some padding. Alright. Okay, so what should we do next? So we need the gaps. Now, this is where Grid is really awesome, because it gives you this Grid gap option. where you can see the example here of how it works. So I might use something like this, gap 10%, and I believe that needs to be applied to the parent as well. So let's try that. Okay, so that has put it in. I'll just remove that there. Okay. I'll just remove that so you can see how that got applied. Okay, so now our gaps are in Figma. Our gaps are approximately, for desktop anyway, 48 pixels wide. So let's just try to put in 48 pixels. I usually work in rems, but for this exercise we'll just throw in some pixels. Okay, so that's pretty much what we want. So if I view the container, it looks like these boxes are going right to the edge, which is exactly what we want. Alright, so now let's look at maybe doing an option for tablet. One thing I should mention about using gap is it's not got great support. That's the Flexbox version of gap, and here's the CSS Grid layout version of gap, and it's not supported by IE 11. I find that the layout that we're building in our video, it looks okay when there's no gaps. So if the gaps aren't going to be an issue, maybe just for IE you can get away with it. The usage of IE is, the global usage is not even 1%. So it's a shame not to be able to use such an awesome feature just for 1%. In this situation, I'd try to get away with it and try to use it because it's too good. It's too good to miss out on. So one thing we are sure of is that this layout is the desktop layout. So we want to put that in a media query, and I've got some variables set up here. So let's say this is desktop. Small. Okay. Did that cause an error? Yes, it did. What line? Desktop small. Okay, spelling error. Okay, so that so because my screen is very small, so we are only seeing this code here is not being run because of the min width that we have set. So let's write some code for this screen here. So without any media query. So once again, we'll use our grid snippet, and we already have the display grid. And the layout that we want is, we only want 2 columns, and we want another row in there. So as we know, here we got 2 columns, 2 columns, and 2 rows. And then we want, we'll copy that there, and you want something like this. I love how visual CSS Grid is. It sounds complicated, but it's actually just really visual. So that's given us a layout that resembles what we're after, which is good. So let's put in our gaps now. Voila. Okay, so that's pretty good. And if maybe we can see what the desktop looks like here, yeah. Okay, so now that just leaves mobile. So we're going to have to wrap this in a media query. And then mobile will have no media query. So we'll go tablet, small. So that's still running this code, so that's good. Our screen size at the moment is at 1082. Right, so now to get it into like a bit of a mobile view, so that's going to be mobile view there. So we really don't have to do much here in the mobile view. So maybe we can just put in the gaps. And maybe that gap should be a lot smaller. So that works pretty good. I just want to check the container on mobile. It's getting really small in here. Yeah, that looks perfect. I just want to check that they're all flush to the edge and there's no weird stuff happening. But that looks good to me. So that's it for this video. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll be more active in the comments. So yeah, thanks for watching.